The Weeknd's latest trilogy of albums, starting with After Hours, throws us directly in a downward spiral that he can't seem to get out of. And the first thing we learn is that he's playing a character, suppressing who he is on the inside, and that even though he's in front of this girl, he feels alone. It's an odd way to start an album. However, slowly but surely, things start falling into place. We learn they're in Las Vegas, they're in a relationship, but most importantly, something's wrong. There's a sense of disconnection with himself. He's throwing all this money in the air and asking, okay, how much to light up my star again? How much to rewire all my thoughts? How much to fix me? It's weird, right? But we learn it's because he's getting broken up with. We're not at the start of a love story. We're at its conclusion. And all that remains for The Weeknd, or Abel, if we're to call him by his real name, is fear and terror. This sets the tone for this entire trilogy of albums The Weeknd has released over the past 5 years. If you didn't know, The Weeknd's discography has mostly worked in trilogies, starting with the first one in 2011, followed by 3 standalone albums from Kissland to Starboy, and this one that was just recently completed, After Hours, Dawn FM, and Hurry Up Tomorrow. These albums are all different, but they all share a common theme: the lifestyle Abel sings about. If there's one thing that should be understood about The Weeknd's music throughout the years, it's this: heavy drug use, partying, fucking with tons of girls, and not remembering their name in the morning. I'm really summarizing right now, but it is really the cliche lifestyle of a pop star who's gonna die at 27. There's this void in Abel that he constantly needs to fill with all of these things. When After Hours came out, there's a short film that came out to promote it. And just watching this short film is a perfect introduction to this world we're about to enter. The short film starts with The Weeknd we know, performing on Jimmy Kimmel and walking off stage all happy and smiling of the praise he's getting from his fans. But as soon as that's all gone, Abel is brought back to his reality. He stops smiling and becomes increasingly anxious. We'll learn that underneath that pop star image he keeps up, Abel is really unwell from many things we'll get into in this video, but by far his worst fear, the thing he's anxious about the most, is being alone. But it goes even deeper than just being alone. He doesn't want to die alone. Abel has had a drug problem for a long time, and if you combine that with this fear of being all alone, it's clear Abel fears to overdose by himself with no one around him. He's thinking, I'm gonna continue living this dangerous lifestyle, and the day will come where I'm gonna overdose in my bed, all alone, and that's gonna be it. It's like he's been alone before, and he can't bear to go through that again. So whatever's happening, whatever the context is not even explained yet. The only goal is he needs to get her back. That's why he was throwing this money in the air. He's like, take it all. He was already trying to buy her back from the start. I mean, it only just started, right? But maybe it... If Alone Again was his initial reaction to the breakup, Too Late is a desperate attempt to get his girl back. I let you down. I let you on. Because for Abel, his girl is his light. This bright light in his dark world that makes him feel less empty inside. It sounds super dramatic, but it's his will to live. And as the sun sets and the after hours start, we're getting slowly more surrounded by darkness. The concept of the after hours goes further than just a time setting for the story. When the night falls, all lights fade, right? But at the same time, Abel loses his guiding light as he searches desperately to get it back. Too Late is a really interesting song because it's perfectly centered at the parallel between saying anything to this girl to get her back and self-reflection and owning up to your mistakes. And you're gonna see throughout the song, he's still right on that parallel and alternating between the two. But if we take a step back right now, we're thrown in this uncontrollable situation without any context and a clue of who our characters are. I mean, we know it's The Weeknd and girl, but are they like fictional? Are they alter egos? With this line detailing some sort of paparazzi lifestyle, like, oh, our breakup is in the People magazine. This line cements the fact that this whole trilogy is partly set in reality. It's like a cinematic adaptation of The Weeknd's life. So like, who's this girl he's so desperate to get back? And honestly, her name is never said in any song, but a lot of fans theorize this could be supermodel Bella Hadid, with whom he had an on and off relationship from 2015 to 2019. But take that with a grain of salt though. I'm not TMZ, but for the sake of this video, and just because we need a name, let's call this girl Bella. It's interesting how Abel compares where he is right now to literal hell, and unfortunately, it doesn't get better for Abel. And he's still having internal struggles against himself, saying stuff like this. Right? Self-reflection. Get over this girl. Maybe she's just not the right fit for you, man. There it is. Right back to begging for more, but thankfully, in the next songs, Abel seems to lean more towards self-reflection, which is useful because we can actually understand better what went wrong in the first place. On Hardest to Love, Abel is in some way taking the blame or the accountability, a moment of reflection to understand what is wrong with him. You tried with me so many times. You're crying up behind this. And the first thing we learn is that it's actually not all black and white in terms of their breakup. Bella has actually been trying hard to make their relationship work, even through the rough patches. She's not leaving him because she doesn't want to try. She's leaving because she tried everything already. You're acting like it's still alive, and you still wanna make it right. And of course, more than anything, she's finding it difficult to let go of this relationship, still wanting to make things right. But I've been the hardest to love. You're trying to let me go. But it's not hard to understand why a relationship with The Weeknd would be hard to sustain. He's always on tour, making new music. He has a pop star career that takes so much time to carry on. It's even one of the reasons they broke up in the first place. Their schedules just don't fit, right? It's hard to let me go. Yeah. But even you would know why he would be hard to love if you've just heard a couple Weeknd songs before. Abel has had an on and off relationship with drugs throughout his career. And looking at songs from his first mixtapes, Abel makes the parties he goes to sound like hell on earth. Bad tripping in a suffocating hot house. If it hurts to breathe, open a window. Don't go outside because this is a happy house. This is fun. Convincing yourself you need that to feel better. Having sex with a bunch of drugged out girls. You're so high you can't even remember what you did. Could you imagine going through that. Perhaps as a couple, they didn't experience exactly that, but it's likely Abel has had a fair share of drugs and affairs when they were together.
I don't feel it anymore. The house I bought is not a home.
Like, this is even a bar The Weeknd uses in House of Balloons. There's still that earlier life inside of him. He distinguishes the house he lives in from an actual home. Wherever he ends up, he never feels in the right place. It can be a party, a cute date with Bella, but there's always this sense that he's never home. So something surprising happens here. We diverge from a situation of anxiety and hopelessness to a situation of more clarity and introspection.
Don't regret the day we met. Don't forget the time we spent.
He ends up saying, like, look, I'm hard to love, but we had good moments together, and maybe it's better that we end it this way. Perhaps it just doesn't work, and that's fine. Bella is breaking up with Abel, that's certain, but she clearly doesn't leave with an empty mind. She still thinks there's a way to make it right somehow. Right now, she's going away filled with regrets and a feeling that love is ruined for her. On Scared to Live, Abel makes a selfless act for once, and with this newfound introspection he had on Hardest to Love, he tries to at least fix how his girl feels about leaving him.
When I saw the signs, I should have let you go.
This song is written exactly like a speech or a letter he'd say directly to her, to make her feel better about herself.
Tell me lost will never be replaced. I'm the reason you forgot.
Abel shows remorse and gets over this fear of being alone just so he can make her feel a tiny bit better. In a way, his final act of true love towards Bella.
Scared to live again.
Go out there, meet new people, find someone to love. That's all Abel wishes her.
You always miss the chance to fall for someone else.
When you're in a relationship for a while and it suddenly ends, it's hard to imagine a next step, the next person, and especially for Bella.
They try to win your love, but there was nothing left.
Going to the point that she forgot how to love by trying so hard to fix something that wasn't fixable. She loved Abel so much, but did Abel even love her back? Because it's clear he cheated many times on her, something he regrets deeply.
I should have made you my only.
It's very possible Abel was not terrified of losing someone he loves, but just terrified of being alone. Hence why he's seeking company from other women, some sort of insecurity. But regardless, he doesn't have to do it, but he makes this selfless act of making her feel better, at least. It's over, and at least maybe she'll feel better about it all and find someone who'll love her like she needs.
Right from the start.
So the first 4 songs really threw us in the middle of a breakup with not really any context, but Snow Child takes us back in time, and it's really where we learn a lot more about our main character.
I used to pray when I was 16. If I didn't make it, then I'd probably make my wrist bleed.
The first verse shows us the story of Abel, basically. We start at 16, him being a good kid, going to church, but with one clear goal in mind: making a living out of music.
I was singing notes while my niggas play with 6 keys, walking in the snow before I ever.
Abel lived with his mother. His father left him when he was very young and only tried to come back when he learned Abel got famous. However, he was so determined to pursue a career in music that he dropped out of school at 17 and, against his mother's wish, left home with a few friends with that goal in mind.
Niggas had no homes, we were living in the dead streets.
they were homeless. They were working during the day and partying during the night. That's where Abel ended up at the actual real House of Balloons in Toronto, where he shifted to this lifestyle. That's where he also developed an addiction to hard drugs. And hearing all that, you're like, oh my god, this kid is crazy. But he actually really cared about the people around him, even though he didn't have much at all.
Spending all my money on these niggas that I brought up, taking care of families for my brothers.
There was this innocence in him. Even if he was just partying over and over and living on public assistance, he was just part of a community. It was a life of day to day. He made it work, but there was always this hunger for greatness.
For that money I was feeling, Cali was the mission, but now a nigga leave.
California, the land of the dreamers, where Abel made a name for himself. This line is also an obvious callback to his 2011 song The Morning, where he sings Cali is the mission. But on Snow Child, there's a twist. For some reason, he's doing the opposite. He's leaving California.
She liked my futuristic sound in the new spaceship.
The second verse contrasts the first one by really showing us the other side of the metal, his life after the rise to fame. Sex with pretty girls, tons of money, getting deals with Mercedes, spending the money on diamonds. He got everything he wanted, but at the end still.
Cali was the mission, but now a nigga leaving.
Still leaving the city after all Los Angeles gave him. Why?
20 mil mansion, never lived in it. Zero edge pool, never did.
We slowly get the reason why that's the case, and it's subtle, but the bridge really shows us the reality he lives in.
Going on tour is my vacation.
Abel tells us what this pop star life feels like. A brand new pool with no one in it. You fly on a private jet to visit another country, but no, it's just your job. It's the dark side of fame. It legit seems like Abel describes a life with no meaning, no point. And it's kind of interesting when you compare it to the first verse. Even though the first bars on this song describes a harsher life, it seems so much more alive. You have people to care about, dreams to follow. Here in LA, there's just the boredom, the lifelessness. After he got everything he wanted, there's still that missing thing, that happy life he needs. So it's certainly not here. He's gonna find it. Escape from LA takes us back to a time Abel and his girl were still together, following the going back in time themes that Snow Child was all about.
Your pillow talked to me about the men who try to get between.
And right away, it gives us so much more information on the kind of relationship they had day to day, a pretty toxic one.
They buy you bags and jewelry, yeah. They think your kindness is so.
Where Bella would just straight up talk to Abel about all the men she's seeing and flirting with, which is a big change up from the first tracks. You'd think only Abel was the cause for this toxic relationship, but no, she does all this shit too. But she justifies it by saying it's all just to make him jealous.
You just wanted my attention. You just wanted my affection.
Just typical signs from a really toxic relationship. So the focus slowly pans away from Abel being the broken one to, in fact, it's kind of both of them. But in LA back then, they're finding a way to make it work.
We'll figure out I shouldn't find a way. When it comes to all these hoes, I'll never chase.
And Abel even seems like the more mature one here, until the next line.
But this world is such an evil place, and these hoes will always find a way.
If we were to all put this on a timeline, when you compare Abel from the first 4 songs to the Abel that is still in LA in a relationship with Bella, you quickly see he doesn't have that introspection he has at the beginning of the album.
'Cause when I'm on the liquor, I go crazy. And for that pussy, you know I'm a slave.
Blaming it on alcohol and how it makes him so crazy he can't resist cheating on her. And the way he says it in his mind, it's like it's normal. It confirms he still has that lifestyle from his older mixtapes, right? Which gives much more explanation to why a breakup would happen eventually.
This place is never what it seems.
However, at that point, it's not happened yet. And it's no surprise that with Abel deflecting the sources of all his problems on other things rather than himself, it would be fair to assume that in order to fix his relationship with Bella, fix the emptiness his career gives him. He just thinks, well, this city is the problem. I just need to leave and it's gonna be fine.
Take me out on land. Take me out.
This place will kill me if I stay. I'll overdose in my bed. It's the reason why my life feels so empty. But that's not even all. Abel doesn't even have the comfort of sleeping anymore.
I can't sleep, 'cause I got everything I wanted.
As the instrumental blurs in the background, we get a really honest verse from a past version of Abel that seems so lost and torn apart.
Got the money, got the cars, got the ceiling with the stars. But I'd be nothing without you.
After he got everything he wanted, it still felt empty. We know that. So he places the meaning of his life onto the girl he loves. It becomes his purpose. So in LA, he gives her everything she wants.
I give you everything you wanted, but none of that matters to you.
But as it did nothing for Abel, having everything Bella wants doesn't change the fact that it still can't make a relationship perfect all by itself. And then the track's instrumental switches to a more hazy beat, which might be telling us Abel has had too much to drink or is straight up high in that moment.
She pulled up to the studio.
This second part of the song still fits in the LA vibe. Abel being in the music studio, his main place of work, when a girl shows up.
We had sex in the studio.
But as I said before, this is most likely a part of the story where Abel is really high. So it's not even clear who this girl is.
LA girls all look the same. I can read good night.
Which is interesting because he can't even tell if it's his girl Bella. But as LA girls all look the same, and these hoes always find a way to get to him, it could very well be a hooker or something for all we know.
She's all mine for the night.
Hearing all this, I can't help but feel like deep sadness for Abel, because he's clearly hurt in so many ways. It's clear he's so scared of being alone that he craves those experiences. Having an LA girl for the night be all his, it's just temporary reliefs to that pain. Escaping LA doesn't even matter. It didn't even save their relationship. What Abel really needs is to escape from himself. Heartless puts us right back where Scared to Live ended, with Abel's final good act towards Bella and making sure she can love someone else again. Like, honestly, if you ended at Scared to Live, it would be a feel-good ending for a movie, right? The girl is sad, but the side character makes her more happy, and then she walks away. She moves on with her life, and everything goes well. But this is not a movie. When the lost and broken side character makes a final heroic act to save the main character's life, his life keeps going. So where does he go then?
Never need a bitch, I'm what a bitch needs. Trying to find the one that can fix me.
Back to rock bottom. But this time it seems like he takes pride in it. After that breakup, he's confident. I'm who bitches need. I'm dodging death like no one else. I'm taking so much drugs, and I'm gonna have some fun tonight.
I want it all now. I've been running through the pussy, need a dog pound.
Honestly, some of these bars are so outrageous considering the feel-good moment that just happened on Scared to Live. When you listen to the album in the normal order, you don't notice this contrast because it goes from Escape from LA to this song, which are pretty similar. But that's not the same for the timeline of events. It's surprising to go from wishing your ex farewell to I need a dog pound.
'Cause I'm heartless and I'm back to my ways.
He's heartless. He's convincing himself he doesn't need love, and he doesn't have love for anybody. So he decides to just succumb to every possible pleasure.
Said I'm heartless. So
The music video for Heartless really shows us where we're at right now. From the last song, we're back in Vegas, obviously, and Abel's running through casino to casino. It really shows us the lifestyle and the old ways Abel has described from the beginning of the album, and it looks awesome on the surface, right? We're all human. It's natural to be like, hey, if I had more money than I could possibly imagine, I'd go gamble and get some girls, but we already know the other side of that for Abel, at least. The loneliness. At the end of the day, everything is temporary. Faith is a continuation of Heartless. Abel is still back to his old ways, but unlike the confident and I don't give a fuck energy he had on Artless, here he seems much more self-aware. Heartless was him not taking in the reality he's in yet. Abel himself says right now he's doing all of that because he lost his faith. His guiding light, Bella, which changes it up from the previous song. We're going from this confident ego trip, I don't need a bitch, I'm what a bitch need, to I'm taking all the pills, cutting away all the pain, because I lost the only thing that gave me direction. But still, he feels everything, the unbearable pain of being left alone after all this time, and we all know where it's heading. We learned that actually this breakup is what ended his 1-year soberness, and then the second verse actually has him double down on the drugs he was already taking. I take and I still stay away, but if I OD, I want you to OD right beside me. And still we have this fear of death resurfacing again. This pops up again because he keeps on taking more and more drugs to numb that pain away. I'm alive when I feel everything. I feel like the chorus has a double meaning here, with Abel saying he's feeling everything from his body to his soul. He feels everything, all his emotions due to the breakup, but also feels everything physically, as some drugs can heighten physical sensations and awareness. He's getting so high, he's feeling every single heartbeat. I'm losing my religion every day. Abel lost his meaning, his reason, this faith, and with him escaping his career to go take drugs and get bitches in Vegas, it's clear there's no end in sight for him. He's just gonna keep doing it, and doing it, and doing it. The song fades out and slowly comes back with a short outro, detailing how Abel ended up in the back of a flashing car, seeing the city lights fly by him through the windows and being blinded by them. The lights are blinding you. With the reverb and distance in the vocals, and given the heavy use of drugs in the song, we can guess Abel is being transported in a police car, a moment that is actually confirmed by Abel as a true story. He says, I got arrested in Vegas. It was a real rock star era, which I'm not really proud of. You hear sirens at the end of the song. That's me in the back of the cop car. That moment. Which is weird because that's not exactly what the next song is about. Okay, I know Blinding Lights is like one of the most streamed songs in the world ever, but this song is actually a really interesting song when you take it in the context of After Hours, because it really starts the redemption act of the story. I've been trying to call. I've been on my own for long enough. With him putting a stop to this reckless behavior he was on for the past 2 songs, I've been on my own for long enough now. It's time to get my shit together. Which is ironic considering he was just in the back of a police car about the fucking OD in the last song. It is ironic and odd. I haven't done that in a video for a while now, but really keep that in mind going forward. Right now, it's not clear at what time Blinding Lights takes place in the story, and given how we go back in time so much in After Hours, we can't place it without a doubt on a timeline right now. But what's certain is that he is speeding down the boulevard in Vegas, blinded by the lights. Since it is cold and empty, no one's around to judge. And he's basically looking for Bella. So put 2 and 2 together. After the darkest time of his life, he realizes he needs her, so he's finally trying to get her back and fix it for good this time. No, I can't sleep until I feel your touch. I won't spend too much time on Blinding Lights since like everybody knows this song and it's pretty obvious lyric-wise, but Abel's goal right now is to drive straight to her and tell her something in person, something he can never say on the phone. But another interesting fact about the next 3 songs, including Blinding Lights, is that they all share a theme of trippy, surreal music videos. Their respective music videos each have something that's off in them. For example, this one really feels like a dream sequence. We keep cutting in and out of these shots of Abel driving a sports car, to him floating off the ground, back to his sports car until he crashes and instantly gets beaten the fuck up by 2 bald dudes. You see what I mean? This whole sequence feels like you're in a dream where nothing makes sense, or exactly like one of those shitty AI videos. But The Weeknd keeps on that trend in the next songs. In Your Eyes is really where things start going uphill again, and you can see it in Abel's writing that instead of saying how many drugs he takes or how numb he feels, he writes with a purpose. He's here to find Bella, and he won't stop until he finally says that thing he needs to say to her that he couldn't say on the phone, remember? And it's heavily implied in the music video for this song. And when I say heavily implied, it's in a weirdly obvious way. It's like Abel is looking for Bella through the streets, walking, looking around, searching for her, but it's all depicted as if he was a stalker or murderer walking around with a knife trying to find her. And now, no, this story is not turning into The Shining where he hunts down and kills everybody because he's so sad.
Stretch that tiny little pussy.
There's a reason why this video is like this, and it's much more obvious when we understand the song itself. On the song, it's like Abel tries to understand the truth of how Bella feels inside, and it's all by looking in her eyes. And it's expected from where Abel is right now. If you decide right now, I'm going back to my ex, on the way there, you think, oh my god, what does he or she feel about me?
I know it hurts to smile, but you try to.
We know there must be a lot of untold feelings Bella has. They both cheated on each other. Abel has a heavy drug problem. Bella tries to deal with it all on top of their individual careers, and it just piles up inside.
You always try to hide the pain. You always know just what to say.
She doesn't look like she's suffering, but in her eyes, you can see her pain. But those feelings aren't important because in the end, no matter what, to Abel, those untold feelings don't define how he feels about her. He chooses to forget it to focus on getting back together, which is good. That's exactly what he needs right now. Alright, so back to the horror movie music video.
Oh, inside you.
Listen, I can explain, okay? There's clearly a pattern repeating between the music videos for Blinding Lights and In Your Eyes, as they're both weird and trippy. They don't really make sense, and there's a lot of interpretations you could have for any of them. But above all, I think the In Your Eyes video actually shows us the hope Abel has for his relationship right now. I know he just got decapitated, but think about it. In the video, Abel never attacks the girl. He just follows her with a knife in hand. I think the video tries to show us how they're both on their toes in this toxic relationship. They're both problematic. At the first sign of danger, they're ready to break up with each other. It's just a matter of who's gonna do it. Bella is scared Abel will hurt her love-wise and ends up ending the relationship just because she felt endangered. And perhaps that's all Abel's perception of things right now. He got broken up with not because of another person in the mix or something else. He genuinely thinks Bella only broke up with him because she thought he would break up first. If so, that could mean that this breakup could be undone. Maybe it's all just a misunderstanding. After the last 2 tracks of searching for Bella, we finally reach the climax on Save Your Tears, where an encounter is imminent.
I saw you dancing in a crowded room.
And the first thing Abel notices is that she looks so happy dancing without him, until she finally notices him.
He caught you by surprise. A single teardrop falling from
She stops dancing and begins crying when she sees him, which tells us without a doubt there's still feelings involved. You cry because you still care for them in some way.
I'll make you cry when I run away.
It's really interesting how these words contrast completely with the In Your Eyes video. The roles are switched. It's Abel that runs away now. And I think that cements even more the idea that Bella broke up with him just because she thought Abel would break up first. They're both running away from each other because they both feel like they're dangerous to each other.
But you walked past me like I wasn't there. And just
It really ties into this game they could be playing. She pretends she doesn't care in order to not get hurt anymore. But in the end, the tears say it all.
take me back, 'cause I wanna stay.
And Abel finally tells her the thing he couldn't say on the phone.
Your tears for another day.
Stop crying and let's get back together. Save your tears for another time. Kind of predictable given the context, but still a cute way to ask her back.
I said some things that I should never say. And now you won't love me for a second time.
But there's still some doubt, and even more than doubt. Maybe she's already made up her mind and it's never gonna happen.
Save your tears for another.
The video for this song follows that same trippy vibe from the last 2, with Abel having his face patched up, like, look, I'm beautiful now, I'm not flawed anymore. It's a promise of change, which ends on a cliffhanger, with Abel taking a gun to his head and giving the choice to Bella to either pull the trigger or not, break up with him again, or get back together. And that's exactly how the song ends. We don't get an answer, but at the end of the day, the tears say it all. Finally, something good could be happening to Abel. I told you before, this is not a movie. This is hell. What if everything that just happened was a mere fantasy for Abel? It was all in his mind. At the end of Faith, he ends up in the back of a cop car, completely fucked up from the many drugs he took, and it would make sense to assume he's passing out and dreaming. We go from him in the back of this car to him suddenly driving to find his ex. Think about these 3 tracks that all have trippy, weird music videos. He floats and crashes a car and gets beaten up on blinding lights, but it doesn't matter. He goes on a deadly hunt to find his ex, but ends up decapitated and engulfed in this fantasy that she only broke up with me because she thought I would break up first. This relationship is salvageable. Then he fixes up his face with plastic surgery and begs her to come back in a final stand, and everything's a happy ending? This is just Abel's fantasy, his subconscious telling him exactly what he wants deep inside.
You don't love him if you're thinking of me.
And it seems that there's a significant gap of time that passed, with Bella apparently having someone else now. This comes out of nowhere, of course, which supports this dream theory even more. How could he know if he was asleep?
You're just fucking. You're just fucking. It means nothing.
This song is a jealousy trip that Abel's having, where he convinces himself that whoever that new person is, it doesn't mean anything because Bella's still completely in love with Abel.
You don't have to cry, girl, let me wipe your eyes.
It's exactly like he just woke up from a dream and he can't really tell what's real and what's not. But the title also makes it obvious that Abel is not only trying to convince himself of this love, but also Bella, saying, "Repeat after me."
Just repeat after me. You don't love me.
As some sort of brainwashing technique to make it true, Abel's getting weaker, and the night only gets darker from here. After Hours is the actual real climax of this album, not In Any Dream, the real final stand.
Thought I almost died in my dream again.
And the first thing that's said really supports that dream theory in the album timeline. On this song, the ambience and production is so haunting and hopeless, and it all ties back into this final beg that Abel has prepared for Bella.
I'm falling into new.
It's like after learning what really happened and that she's with someone else now, he comes crawling back to her in hopes of doing the same thing that happened in his dream. After all, he was so close to getting her back that it's like a cruel joke this world plays on him.
My heart belongs to you.
Listening to this song, the whole vibe really reminds me of that In Your Eyes video. Right now, listening to The Weeknd, there's really something about his vocals.
I wanna share babies.
They sound scary. I'd imagine a serial killer or stalker exactly like in the In Your Eyes video.
Without your eyes here.
It's creepy, but you really feel the pain in Abel. Now that this dream is over and he comes back to reality, he's face to face with a dark abyss of loneliness, and he'll do everything to try and avoid that. If you think about it, there's been nothing but suffering down here.
My darkest hours. Girl, I felt so alone inside of this crowd.
It seems he's so scared he just ends up saying everything on his mind to this girl, even telling her that this dream he just had, that was intentional.
Myself asleep. Just so I can get closer to you inside my
I took so many drugs just so I can get a bit closer to being with you while I'm dreaming. That's fucking crazy. Abel's losing all self-control.
baby. Where are you now when I
It all mounts up to the chorus where his message is simply an apology and him asking for her to take him back.
sorry that I broke your heart. Your heart.
The second verse continues that apology where he tries to explain why he wasn't all there when they were together, why he acted so recklessly, but also bringing up some references to legit heaven.
I'll be living in heaven when I'm inside of you.
Overall, in this album, there's a lot of references to divinity concepts, heaven and hell. In one of the first tracks, he said Vegas is like hell for him, disguised as paradise. He's claiming how he lost his religion and faith, how this girl is his heaven, his light, his way out of here. There's something deeper about this that we can't put a finger on right now. But it's hardly the main focus of this song right now, as every time Abel begs for her to come back, she gets further away.
I know it's all my fault.
Towards the end of the song, the instrumental dials down, and Abel puts aside all the over-explaining and creepy begging to tell something more honest to Bella.
I made you fall and said you were wrong for me.
Abel really conveys one of the most emotional parts of the whole trilogy here, where he regrets saying that they weren't right for each other.
I lied to you, I lied to you, I lied to you.
A regret that affects Abel more than anything because he didn't do much to stop this breakup when it happened, or even worse, save this relationship while he could.
'Cause this house is not a home without my...
Abel said hell is Las Vegas, but in the end, every place, every house, everywhere is hell for Abel. It's all just an empty life for him if he doesn't have the one he loves. Until I Bleed Out is easily my favorite song on this album because of how it ties everything together so well. It's first of all a direct response to After Hours, where it's clear Bella left already and Abel is facing the long journey ahead.
Can't explain
There's this sense of paralysis Abel talks about. He can't move anymore. He's incredibly afraid. You may think that it's because he ended up alone. That was his worst fear, being alone again. But it's actually because he realizes what this all was.
And I don't even wanna get high no more.
We're thrown into this album like we're in a dream. We don't remember where it starts. We're just right at the moment everything is falling apart. And the whole album is about a character getting tormented over and over.
Just want it out of my life, out of my
He's getting broken up with, so he goes on the worst night of his life, almost overdosing and passing out because of that. While he's out, he ends up getting the worst form of torture you could possibly imagine, being so close to the thing that you know will end all your misery and getting that thing snatched away from you a second before you reach it. Abel said Las Vegas is hell disguised as a paradise with blinding lights. But what if it really was just hell? For Abel, everything that's happened in this story was the worst thing that could possibly happen, the worst pain he could imagine, exactly like if he was a soul, condemned to eternal punishment after death. Why do you think Abel says it's too late to save their souls? On Faith, he says he's losing his religion every day. On Blinding Lights, he says, Sin City's cold and empty, no one's around to judge me. Hell is a place with no judgment from God. You've already been judged. He sent you here. The After Hours trilogy is an afterlife trilogy. So when it becomes clear that he'll never change this perception Bella has of him, he understands this place only has pain left for him, so he needs to find a way out. Cut out every single part of him that loves Bella. Just take it out so he can be free of this hell in some way. But he's bleeding the life out of him. Bella was all he ever was. He has nothing else that brings him meaning than Bella. It's like he's slowly killing himself. And then you realize these moments where he's getting beat, bleeding out just a little more, it's not someone else hitting him or a metaphor for how this breakup hurts him. It's himself. He does it to himself willingly. This album is not about getting a girl back by any means. After Hours is Abel trying to convince himself he doesn't need this relationship to stay alive. But we all know that, at least for now, it's not true. Darkness. That's all that lies in front of Abel, because in the end, if this girl is the only thing he ever truly cared about, and he bled out everything that reminded him of her, he's basically dead at this point. The second album in the trilogy, Dawn FM, starts by clearly separating itself from After Hours. Remember Abel telling Bella he's not sure if he can be alone again? Well, Dawn FM starts with the worst fear of Abel becoming a reality. And he can't help but wonder, after leaving this city full of blinding lights, is it just darkness forever now? What the hell is even left for Abel to do?
You are now listening to 103.5 Dawn FM.
But out of nothing, a strange guide comes to Abel's side and seems to want to help him.
You've been in the dark for way too long. It's time to walk into the light and accept your fate.
As a mere concept alone, Dawn FM is an album that's really interesting because it's all presented in a very surreal way, a sort of purgatory.
Scared? Don't worry. We'll be there to hold your hand and guide you through this painless.
And if you don't know, a purgatory is generally seen as a place where souls go to purify and cleanse their sins. It's not a prison of infinite pain and suffering like hell where there's absolutely no escape. There's an escape from purgatory. It's heaven. So with our 3 albums, we can see we're on a journey from hell to heaven, which is interesting because it's incredibly similar to Dante's Divine Comedy, a narrative poem written around 1321, which tells the story of a soul that goes on a journey from hell to purgatory to heaven. So it's clear in the story, Abel is dead and waiting in this empty space with this bright light in the distance, the halfway point of our journey. And there's just this odd radio station at the center of it all.
But what's the rush? Just relax and enjoy another hour of commercial-free music.
So with nothing else to do except listen to what this strange voice on the radio has to say, why not just sit back and enjoy the music for a little while?
Stay tuned.
Gasoline introduces us well to this new world we're about to discover. And the first lines of the song tell us that the after hours have passed and the dawn is upon us, where you can almost see the sun going over the horizon.
It's 5 a.m. my time again. I've soaken up the moon, can't see.
And right away it seems we've left this dark emptiness, with Abel describing himself in a bedroom, not able to fall back asleep.
It's 5 a.m. my time again. I'm calling and you know it's me.
And he's calling someone. And given we don't have much characters in this story, it's pretty obvious about who he's calling this late at night.
It's 5 a.m. I'm high again, and you can see that I'm in pain.
The Weeknd describes this scene where Bella comes over in the middle of the night to help Abel, probably having a bad trip on drugs he's previously taken, which makes you wonder, when is this even taking place?
I'm staring into the abyss, I'm looking at myself again.
Well, first of all, they still seem to be together, which is one thing, but a bar clearly tells us Abel still hasn't lost his faith, something he loses in After Hours. So to me, this seems to take place before the events in After Hours. So with that and all those lyrics detailing emptiness and an abyss like it's all a dream, Gasoline is detailing a memory Abel is revisiting in some way.
I love it when you watch me sleep. You spin me around so I
And it's all about comfort, this sense that someone you love is just right next to you when you're feeling extremely unwell.
I know you won't let me OD.
In Abel's case, even if he overdoses next to her, it doesn't matter. Just wrap him in sheets and burn him with gasoline, because he's with her and he's not alone.
It don't mean much to me.
You can see he's completely lost any meaning to his life after bleeding himself to death. He's just become this empty shell, remembering good times and repeating them in his head. Abel changes his appearance on this album, going from this iconic red suit pop star look to an old man, filled with regret with nothing but time in front of him, and it fits perfectly. It's like a version of Abel that watched his life flew by and is just left here to ponder on everything. This all fits into the conceptual part of the album. We're in purgatory, he's old now and visiting memories of his life, but you can also very well imagine that as a metaphor for real life. Like, you just broke up with someone and you're just lying in bed not knowing what to do because you've lost all you cared about.
It's 5 a.m. I'm nihilist. I know there's nothing after this.
It transcends the idea of just sad feelings after a breakup and becomes more about an existential crisis that can be applied to anything, really. Whether it's a breakup, a death of a close one, or any harsh period of your life, this album really conveys well that feeling of being stuck somewhere because you can't find the meaning in life, the thing to keep you going.
Oh baby, please just hold me close, make me believe there's more to live.
And right now, Abel has lost his light, so he holds on to the only thing he has, his memories. How Do I Make You Love Me keeps it going with this recalling of old memories with Bella.
We're going back in time. I I'd like to see you try unpacking thoughts.
And he's making it clear that all of this is like going back in time, walking through an old memory and seeing yourself like it's all happening again. In fact, you're gonna see the first tracks of Dawn FM all follow this idea. They're all different memories in a different order.
Doesn't phase you. I need a breakthrough. I only want.
On Gasoline, it was a pretty familiar memory. We know Abel gets high and almost ODs, but on this song, you realize those memories aren't just him revisiting the events in After Hours. They go back a while.
How do I make you love me?
We're going back in time where Abel met her initially. You know how we never got the beginning of their relationship in After Hours. Dawn FM gives us glimpses of that. And there's an additional layer. Instead of just recounting the memory, it's like he's walking through it. He's asking himself above all, how could I make this love last forever and prevent what happened?
I can see the real you, girl, you don't have to hide.
He's this old guy remembering this relationship, but there's still a part of him that's like, it's salvageable. I can get her back.
But I can reach you up again like embers of a fire.
Dawn FM is one of the albums in the trilogy with a lot of visuals that show us this weird world Abel's in. And right now, I feel like this is a good time to get into them, specifically the videos for Gasoline and this song. Gasoline's video is very similar to the After Hours short film, as it's like an introduction to the album. He suddenly appears in this darkness and visits an old memory like he's doing in those tracks. There's even a younger Abel in it, and that younger Abel does end up beating the old one, which is something we're not supposed to understand now, but it's gonna come back. For How Do I Make You Love Me, it's all animated, but it shows that same old character we've seen in the Gasoline video, seemingly in a hospital room with a mask on. As he tries to escape from the room, he loses an arm, falls off a fucking building, but he's fine. It's like he can't die. And in the end, he ends up turning into a child version of Abel. It seems like I'm just reading off a fucking list, but trust me, these come back in later tracks of the trilogy. If How Do I Make You Love Me was about a time when Abel wished to be in love with Bella, Take My Breath is about when they were fully in love. Both of them.
Take my breath.
One of the things that Dawn FM does so well is its immersion. The insane transitions between songs, the nostalgic synths. It's exactly like you're listening to a song playlist of your own life. It's like you hear a song on the radio that came out at a certain time in your life and you can remember very specific things.
I saw the fire in your eyes.
And in Abel's case, this song is about being vividly in love with Bella. This bar also links directly to In Your Eyes, where he says he sees something burning inside her. On here, it could be just passion, but maybe also the danger that this girl will eventually be.
You tell me things you wanna try.
And this is just a theory, but what I think is interesting about this song is that the higher pitched vocals almost seem like a response to the previous bar. It's almost like a warning from the old Abel. He's been to hell, he knows what the devil looks like. But anyway, what's really new about this song is that the love is mutual. It's really recalling a previous time in their early relationship.
It's like a dream. What she feels with me, she loves to be.
And it's kind of reassuring to know finally that yes, there was something special between them after the hell we just went through. And it fits into that sentiment of comfort old Abel is currently looking for. He even recalls how Bella, he perceived it as his way to heaven. But let's talk a bit more about this radio station, 103.5 Dawn FM. First of all, the numbers are a reference to Z103.5, a radio station in Toronto where Abel is from, and apparently it was the first radio station to ever play his music. And we also have our host here, which is none other than Jim Carrey, which is fitting because if you've seen the movie Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind, this movie is very similar to how the world of Dawn FM works. The movie is about a character undergoing a procedure that makes him forget his ex, basically. And in this movie, he walks through memories exactly like in Dawn FM. But here, Jim is just this guide, making sure Abel reaches that light in the distance. There's obviously this next step in his journey, but how is he gonna get there now? Sacrifice ends this period of recollection of earlier memories with this final one, his sacrifice he made at the end of After Hours.
I was born in a city where the winter...
And he starts by making a reference to Snowchild being born in cold Toronto, Canada, and we sense he's slowly trying to get out of this empty shell state he's been in for the past songs, because he's actually thinking of what he has left now.
The ice inside my veins will never bleed.
He thought he bled out everything that made him Abel, but like this ice inside his veins, the city he was born in, the experiences he had there, that has nothing to do with Bella. It's the first step in realizing he's still something without her. And now you start to understand why this is the last song where he's recalling a memory. It ends that part of Dawn FM because at some point after a breakup, you realize that you're still someone after all. The truth is, Abel sacrificed the part of him that loved Bella so he can get more of the night, more time, keep going in life, escape this hell. And you can tell he's gaining confidence more and more rapidly than ever.
You do the toughest parts when you feel like it's the end, 'cause life is still worth living.
Even making the point to her that, hey, if you decide to come back because like you want to fuck or something, don't come and catch feelings because that won't work anymore.
Don't be out here catching feelings, 'cause always sacrifice.
He's owning up to what he did. He sacrificed himself to be better. And it's so satisfying to finally see Abel go uphill after this nightmare.
I don't understand.
However, he's still stuck in purgatory because the goal was not to get over this breakup, it was to find meaning in his life. Now, he might have gotten over Bella in some way, but what does he have to look forward to? A Tale by Quincy is a really interesting song in the context of Dawn FM because it's like if in the middle of all these radio songs, we have a short interview with a guest, which happens to be producer Quincy Jones.
That's it. Looking back now, I didn't know what it was supposed to be.
It's an odd pause to have in the middle of these songs, but as Quincy keeps talking to Jim, we learn why this interview is taking place.
And it's like raising kids, man. If you weren't raised, you don't know how to raise, you know?
He starts talking about some of his regrets he gathered in his life.
I just did the best thing I could with them because they know fucking well I loved them.
Like how he wished he raised his kids better. And that it all ties back to how he was raised.
Watching my mother get put in a straitjacket and taken out of my home.
Abel and this guy do share some things in common though. In their childhood, one of their parents left. They've also gone through trauma and did some things they deeply regret because of that.
Whenever I got too close to the woman, I would cut her off. Part of that was vindictive.
That's when you realize this guy being interviewed is just another lost soul waiting here, doing the exact same thing as Abel, lamenting over his regrets over and over. In the context of Dawn FM, it's such a sad thought that you have this poor soul there, just being interviewed.
Looking back is a bitch, isn't it?
Hearing this interview seems to awaken something in Abel. While on Sacrifice he was almost passive-aggressive talking about Bella, on Out of Time he takes a neutral stance on the whole relationship.
The last few months I've been working on me, baby.
You can tell this interview changed him a bit, made him think about all the trauma he experienced and how that's affected the people he loved.
There's so much trauma in my life.
Notably this fear of abandonment. You're like, maybe this has something to do with how his father left very young.
I look back now and I realize.
And then it seems like he's about to crawl back to her again. Like, oh my god, I realize I need you now.
Take me with you, drowning nights to stay.
It seems like he's getting back into it, but there's something that holds him back.
Say I love you, girl, but I'm out of time.
He could say he loves her, he's there for her, he cares for her, but what he chooses to say in the end is,
Said I'm too late to make you mine, out of time.
he's out of time. It's too late to come back running to her like he did in After Hours. But there's still this neutral stance he keeps, like I said before.
If you mess up just a little, baby, you know my line.
Bella is now with someone else, we know that, and Abel won't make a move, but he still remains open to getting back with her if she comes back.
Now I can't keep you from loving him. You made up your mind.
Out of Time is also when it becomes clear that songs throughout the albums of the trilogy have much more correlations than we think of. For example, we have 3 different songs relating to the concept of time: Too Late, Out of Time, and Timeless, all on separate albums. Same thing with songs related to fear: Scared to Live, Every Angel is Terrifying, and Baptized in Fear. It's like each theme in the trilogy as an arc, and we can see it through the song titles. On After Hours, he doesn't have a heart, he's heartless. On Dawn FM, he regains his heart, but he doesn't want to break it. And on Hurry Up Tomorrow, he's trying to open his heart up again. It could just be a coincidence, but I still felt like it was interesting to point out. That song finally ends the first part of Dawn FM, as he sees the girl he loved leave for the last time.
Don't you dare touch that dial, because like the song says, you are out of time.
Suddenly, Jem takes us out of this memory as we reach the halfway point of the 60 minutes of uninterrupted music on 103.5 Dawn FM. This is also a moment that's illustrated in the music video for Out of Time, where it's clear Jim is trying to help Abel, going through these memories and fixing him to try and reach heaven.
On 103.5 Dawn FM. But don't panic. There's still more music to come before you're completely engulfed in the blissful embrace.
There's a sense of calm and comfort the host is trying to convey to anybody that's listening. As he's describing this light in the distance, you can't help but feel fear.
Soon you'll be healed, forgiven, and refreshed, free from all trauma, pain, guilt, and shame.
Fear of what's at the end of that tunnel. Even says some pretty disturbing stuff.
You may even forget your own name. But before you dwell in that house forever, here's 30 minutes of easy listening to some slow tracks.
Here We Go Again starts the second half of the album, and already it's like a significant amount of time has passed since the breakup.
Strike a pose when my kinfolk from page to page.
It changes up the pretty dark mood we were in for the past 7 songs, almost like if Abel had moved on completely from the breakup and his existential crisis.
Used to sing on logs, but now we cruising on the yacht we clear.
Even being on vacation now, for real, not on tour, taking a little break from his career with a bunch of people on a
You
boat.
wanted your boyfriend jealous with a couple pills.
With a new girl in the picture, initially wanting just some pics with the Weeknd to make her boyfriend jealous, but eventually falling in love with him.
You didn't expect to fall for me once you got this deal.
Some time has passed, and we know it's a new girl because
And my new girl, she a movie star. My new girl,
It's possible this girl is Angelina Jolie or Selena Gomez. This is the TMZ bracket of the video. I don't like doing TMZ research, but for understanding the root of Dawn FM, it's really not that important about who it is about. What matters is he's turning the page after the breakup and meets this new girl. Let's call her Stephanie. There's still these existential thoughts he has from time to time. It doesn't go away. But when Stephanie is with Abel, it fills that void he has inside, makes it all okay. Great, but it's the same thing that happened before. He's doing it all again. And now you see, just from what's happening, how the second part of the album is starting. It's kind of the complete reverse of After Hours. While that album depicted the very end of a relationship, Dawn FM has Abel start another one again to fill the void that the previous relationship left. But then we have our first artist feature on the trilogy, which is none other than Tyler the Creator, giving us a verse detailing how this love from Abel's side, it's temporary.
Although this love is strong to me, some things can change, go wrong with me, we don't know how it's going.
This verse is the equivalent of explaining to a girl you just met that you just plan on fucking her. That, hey, don't get any long-term ideas in your head. We're in love right now, but like, you're not gonna get the yacht.
You gon' sign this prenup, you gon' sign this prenup, you gon' sign this prenup.
I think one of my most vivid memories of this song is listening to that part in the car with my dad and the sheer look of confusion on his face. Like, what is this song? So even if Abel gets back into the love game, he has some restraints. He doesn't want to become dependent on this love again. But I mean, that's good. Maybe that's exactly what he needs to regain his independence and gain confidence in himself. Free his soul. As he gets closer to the light, he sees it's the way out of here. Best Friends has Abel trying to keep this new relationship as is, because one, it makes him feel better in general, and two, he's not dependent. He gets his sex, he gets to not be alone, and that's great for him. It's secure compared to the hell he just went through, because there's no feelings involved at all. But for Stephanie, it's of course not enough for her. She wants more than that. She wants to be more than best friends. It's funny how the roles are reversed now, with the girl all over the Weeknd, like he was all over Bella for the whole time. But this new dynamic seems to really come from Abel's previous experiences. It's a warning Abel imposes, like, I know the other side of love, when it doesn't work anymore, and it's not worth it, trust me. However, you see there's this internal conflict in him because he calls it love already, which makes you question if he's all that genuine. But as you'd expect, Abel starts getting back in his ways. How the sex is so great, but focus on the friendship. Let's just stay friends. And it seems that paired up with the constant wish of Stephanie wanting to be more than friends, the fact that Abel is actually better with her, and the sex, of course, something starts switching in Abel. Feelings start taking more place than they should in the relationship, and with that, a new part of him surfaces. Is There Someone Else takes place most likely as his relationship becomes more and more serious, because she wanted to be more than friends. She's getting what she wants, and she's fine with it. But now that Abel finally has her, he starts thinking about what he's missing.
I know that you're hiding something from me.
Remember that jealous boyfriend she had? As soon as things become serious and Stephanie becomes his girlfriend, partner, whatever, he instantly starts getting paranoid.
I used to be the one who was lying.
The roles are completely switched here. 2 songs ago, he was talking about signing a prenup. It's not even clear if Stephanie is cheating on him, but it doesn't matter. He needs to know.
Is there someone else or not?
As we move forward in this trilogy, it's interesting to see how it fills in the blank of why Bella and Abel broke up. How Abel is the hardest to love, for example. It's answered as the story develops, because this right now is a great example of that. That paranoia and jealousy contributes to the fact that maybe a girl can deal with that long term.
I swear I changed my ways for the better.
And we learned that, in fact, he is still the same person he was, lying again and again and trying to convince his girlfriend that everything's okay. This fear of loneliness takes over him again.
'Cause I need to know if you hurting him or you hurt him.
Just the idea that this jealous boyfriend could be in the picture, it starts consuming him and tearing him apart.
I only met you in my dreams before.
Starry Eyes transitions well from Is There Someone Else by having Abel show his complete devotion to Stephanie. It's even a song where we learn that this new girl is hurt like Abel is.
But you're defeated, baby. Broken, hurting, suffering from a
It's interesting that the girls Abel spends his time with are all broken souls, having in some way known trauma, but it's also interesting how every character we've met down here in Purgatory are stuck here too. She's suffering from a shattered soul filled with regret, a bit like how we met Quincy, right?
Let me be there for your heart.
But Abel devotes himself completely to her as she fills this emotional void Abel has. He'll do the same for her, becoming this toxic codependent relationship where you're not even sure if they both love each other or are just using each other to deal with the pain.
Back then I was starry-eyed, and now I'm so cynical.
Abel says he used to be starry-eyed, someone who's overly and blindly optimistic, probably talking about his previous relationships, but now he's so cynical and telling Stephanie, you can kick me to the curb, you can break me if you need to, which highlights how unhealthy this all is. Remember how happy and careless it was on the boat. As soon as feelings are involved, Abel just develops this obsession over someone. Things just take scary proportions. Every Angel is Terrifying is an explosion after Starry Eyes, comprising of 2 parts. The first one being spoken word, where Abel quotes directly Do We Know Elegies? I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right. A collection of poems published in 1923 by Rainer Maria Rilke. I don't know if I'm pronouncing. This poem describes an encounter with an angel. It really draws from stuff like cosmic horror, you know, the mix of unimaginable splendor and intense terror at the same time.
For beauty is the terror we endure, while we stand in wonder, we're annihilated.
It fits into the religious themes of the trilogy, but given Abel has always referred the girls he dated to light, a way to heaven, a way to drown his depressive thoughts, it would be fair to assume that they're Abel's version of angels. And to him, they're a double-edged sword. He always needs one to not sink deeper into depression, but when they leave, it's the worst thing possible.
Every angel is terrifying.
Intense, graphic, sexy, euphoric.
Out of nowhere, an ad pops out.
Cinema like you've never seen it before. The exotic, bizarre, and beautiful world of Afterlife.
It's an ad for a movie titled Afterlife, And listening to that ad, they want you to understand that this movie will solve every problem you have.
Critics say Afterlife makes your current life look like a total comatose snooze fest.
It's gonna end your depression, solve your broken marriage, repair the relationship with your kids, whatever you want, really. So obviously you think there's some correlation between that movie and that strange light in the distance. It all fits together somehow.
Call 1-800-414-4444. That's 1-800-444-4444.
The voice even gives us a phone number to order this incredible afterlife. And you'll notice right away that he gives two different numbers, which is odd. One's a number that directly takes you to a sex hotline, and the other being an automatic number identification. You call it and it reads back your phone number. There's a reason for this. But for now, let's not worry about that too much, because Abel has got more urgent things to worry about than this random ad on the radio. Don't Break My Heart really starts tying everything together in a way that you understand what's slowly happening over the course of this trilogy.
I see you drowning in the purple lights, diamond shining bright.
This song takes place in a discotheque with Stephanie, and this obsessive relationship they had has only grown more out of control, really.
But I know you're right for me. Ecstasy.
To me, this line is so interesting because, in my opinion, it discreetly tells a hard truth. He never saw Stephanie as the person she is, but rather another pill in a bag of drugs he can constantly grab more. Like, have you noticed how devoid of personality the new girl he's dating is? Throughout the songs, we learn she's a movie star and has trauma, but like, that would describe any girl you'd expect The Weeknd to be dating. It seems like this new girl is just a blank slate with insert hot famous girl here. We're detaching ourselves from a story he lived and going more into a process.
I think that you would die for me. Destiny.
We've not seen the prequel of After Hours, what he was doing before the breakup, but what if it was exactly that?
Just don't break my heart.
What he was so scared that would happen again, it's brought up in the discussion. Another breakup, the thing he just got over.
I don't know if I can take it anymore.
In Abel's eyes, it's like another death sentence, being left alone again, because he keeps recalling what happened before.
The girl I used to love, we broke up in the club.
He finds himself in the same setting and place he was with Bella on Save Your Tears. It's the same setting. He's in the club, he doesn't want his heart broken, and this line makes us rethink what Save Your Tears was all about. Was it all actually a dream, or was it real? If it was a dream, at the end, did they actually break up?
I almost died in the disco, and now I know she wasn't right.
But this time, it's not anything like it is between us. Bella wasn't right for me. You died for me, right?
I'd rather you would die for me. Destiny.
You can feel the desperation in Abel's words, but Abel tries to justify it and blame it on the liquor.
I believe the liquor's talking.
He's been here before, and he just doesn't want to turn into this creepy begging dude again. So let's just take a breather.
It's just you and I in the discotheque.
But it's already too late. So there's good news and bad news at the start of this song. The good news is that this new girl didn't break up with Abel. But the bad news is that she did break his heart.
I know this is a fling. You're right in someone's ring.
In fact, Abel's obsessive and almost creepy suspicions he had on Is There Someone Else, for example, were right. The girl is straight up married.
Ooh, I heard you're married, girl. Oh.
When you think about it, it would be fair to assume that Abel was just a victim of his own reckless behavior. Back when he used to fuck around and cheat on Bella, he was not married, but he was in a serious relationship. He was cheating on Bella to feel his own selfish pleasures and to feel less alone. heal his traumas. Now, he's the victim of that. Stephanie is doing the same thing Abel was doing to heal those traumas she obviously has, which is ironic now. It's like a lesson she's teaching him.
Now I'm sure you have your issues and your reasons. Why you even with them if you cheated?
Seriously? You have no idea how someone can be with a partner and cheat on them? That's weird. I don't know anybody who does that. There's no growth at all. It's still the same old Abel. However, he ends the song by ending the relationship himself. So at this point, what do you even do?
Remember, I was your hero.
This song has Abel talk to a girl, but we're not even sure who it is. Is it Stephanie, Bella, another one? We're at a point where it hardly matters, honestly.
I couldn't save you from my dark.
Because at the end, if he's gonna keep falling in and out of love endlessly, never fixing his problems, why does it matter? It's the same as if he was by himself.
I know I'll always be less than zero.
The bottom line is just giving up. I'm worthless. I don't know what I'm doing wrong. And it's sad to sit around and watch this because there doesn't seem to be an exit for Abel.
'Cause I can't get it out of my head.
And it's always directed at the other one. You'd rather leave me than to watch me die in your arms. What the fuck are you doing, Abel? Do something by yourself for once.
I can't shake this feeling that crawls in my
He's a hero when he has someone to care about, but when it comes to himself, he doesn't consider himself important enough. It's always putting it on others to give his life meaning.
I try to fight it, but I'd rather be free.
And there comes the moment where Dawn FM stops being simply a sequel to the events of After Hours. It starts becoming its own separate thing. We're in purgatory, there's no time involved. This is not a story with a brand new girl, but rather a wheel Abel keeps running in endlessly.
You tried your best with me, I know.
You're tuned to Dawn FM.
Dawn FM is a cycle of finding a new person to drown all those depressive thoughts you have, then becoming addicted to that person until you realize you can't have them anymore, and you're back with those same depressive thoughts. It's a realization that what's wrong is not the people the Weeknd hangs out with, it's the Weeknd himself.
So sit back and unpack. You may be here a while.
If we look at the timeline, Dawn FM is separated into two acts. The first one, from the title track to Out of Time, where he ponders on the relationship he just lost. The second act, from Here We Go Again to Phantom Regret, is a quick part about falling in love and a super condensed version of the events of After Hours, where the relationship falls apart and he ends up with nothing. Now, you might think the twist is like I'm about to reveal Stephanie as Bella and it's a sort of prequel to After Hours, but in reality, it's not even a story.
And it's time to look back on the things you thought you owned. Do you remember them well?
This place is not a prison of his mind or a purifying waiting room in between the two other albums of the trilogy. It's a place to make him realize that he needs to change.
When you're all out of time, there's nothing but space. No hunting, no gathering.
It can't be placed at a specific time in his life. Dawn FM is a system, a contraption where you just fill in the blanks. It's not about Bella specifically or Stephanie he met on a yacht. Take any girl he used to love. Make him lament over how this relationship went sour. When he's over it, make him meet a new girl and let him ruin the relationship like he's always done. And then this new girl just takes the spot of the other one before. It's not a coincidence that the end of the last song of Dawn FM has the same sounds as the first track of the album. If he doesn't learn his lesson by the end of the album, he goes through the same cycle again, bleeding living out the part of him that loves the girl, pondering over the relationship that just happened, and here we go again. Another broken soul I can hang out with to fill in the void I created for myself. It never ends. The Weeknd's life is a purgatory. This is just systematically how the Weeknd functions, waiting to reach a light he'll never reach.
Heaven's for those who let go of regret. You have to wait here when you're not all there.
What if there was a way to get out of this prison, purify and cleanse his soul so he can reach heaven? Maybe that light in the distance.
Are you listening? Real close. Heaven's not that, it's this.
That light in the distance is just light. Heaven is not something you reach, it's something you make. Remember that number you can call to order afterlife. You got 2 numbers, 2 choices. You can call a sex hotline, get back to your old ways, and stay the same. Or call yourself, a number that just spits back your own number.
You gotta be heaven to see heaven.
That number is you. Heaven is not a place, it's a state of mind. Wake Me Up marks the start of the last chapter in the trilogy, representing heaven, but also the fact that after running around in circles for so long, he finally woke up.
All I have is my leg.
The after hours, the dawn, have passed, and with the sun finally coming up, he realizes, if I don't have someone else to drown my thoughts in, all I have is what I've built for the past decade. The Weeknd. When it becomes clear that there's no light in the distance, no magic spell to fix everything, at the end of the day, all he has is him and this monster he's created. You're gonna notice in this album that there's a separation of characters that occur, and it's really different than the story Abel tells on Dawn FM and After Hours. On Hurry Up Tomorrow, Abel will dissociate himself from the Weeknd. He's gonna look at him and tell himself, this thing needs to change. I need to fix him. After Jim makes him realize heaven comes from within, the goal is to create that heaven, reach that peace of mind. So in Hurry Up Tomorrow, we're not directly entering heaven. Throughout this album, it's gonna be Abel trying to fix himself, fix the Weeknd, to erase that void he's been struggling with for all this time. We've known for a while now that heaven is coming, not only from the Divine Comedy theory, but also from the weird ad on Dawn FM advertising the out-of-this-world movie Afterlife. And it's fitting because Hurry Up Tomorrow does come with a movie of the same name. The album and the movie, they literally go together. If you took one away from the other, they wouldn't really make sense. However, as you may know, this movie was not well received.
Shut the fuck up! Shut up!
Now, I don't want this video to turn into a full-on movie review, but before I decided that, I'd actually already done it, so it's up on Patreon if you guys are interested. For this video, I'll say this. The whole movie is a metaphor, kind of like the story in Dawn FM and After Hours was. It's more concerned with providing subliminal messages and meanings for the story Abel has been telling for this trilogy than actually making an entertaining movie anybody can watch. Now, for the sake of this video, I'll only be using the movie to support the narrative of what's happening in the album. The album is my prime focus, because I really feel like that's what the movie is. A super long music video to the album providing context to what's happening.
Sun is never rising. I don't know if it's day or
So back to our first track of this final album. Wake Me Up really emphasizes the start of a new day. We're still in the dark, but Abel is actively looking for the light, and not in the usual way. As he searches for the light, there's confusion. Abel's past definitions of light were usually the girls he was dating, the only way for him to get rid of his depressive thoughts and reach heaven. But now he's asking the question, is that light even real? This love is his delusion. It's what made everything go wrong from the very start. Abel comes back to reality. He doesn't need love from anybody to find heaven, as it comes from within. He's finally waking up from a long slumber. This mindless cycle he's been in, finally feeling like he's in control of his life again. And it ties in with the concept of purgatory as well. In theory, souls that are sent to purgatory are cleansed or purified with fire. You might see some similarities to hell, but it's not considered a fire that hurts or burns to torture you. It's a fire associated with God's love. So Abel saying, "Cleanse me with your fire," brings on a whole nother layer of meaning. With this song becoming a sort of prayer, like if Abel was asking directly to God, "Wake me up, chase these demons away, heal me, make me better." A fitting start, considering what we just went through. Abel is getting his faith back, getting closer to religion, but it still feels uncertain. It's like he's all alone and he doesn't know what to do now. He knows he needs to change, but will God help him? Will Abel help himself? Will someone else? He's waking up, but what if it's another dream again? One thing that separates this album from the rest of the trilogy is the setting, which is much more based on The Weeknd's career. This trilogy has been based mostly on the romantic relationships of The Weeknd, but as he's all alone, this persona takes the center stage.
I can feel it. Girl, pick up your phone, I can't believe it.
It seems after the events of Dawn FM, Abel has kind of restarted his normal routine. He started a new tour, worked on new music, but there's still this attachment he has for the girl he once loved.
Slowly bleeding. I wish that I told you all my feelings.
The movie actually starts with a voicemail from Abel's ex, most likely Bella.
I used to think that you were a good person. But now I know that's not true.
Telling Abel how much he was hurt by his actions, how his mother would be ashamed to even know what happened. So while he's getting ready to perform, there's this anxiety that builds up. He needs to call her.
At least you play a song when I'm gone.
At this point, Abel has been simping for so long that it's natural to think like,
oh shit.
Here we go again.
he's just gonna keep doing the same thing over and over again. But I promise that's not what this album is about. There's significant growth just from this very line.
Hope that you still cry for me like I cried for you.
In Faith, he says the opposite. "Don't you cry for me," acting helpless like he's not even worth crying over. Now, he's reevaluating what he's worth. Bitch, cry for me. I cry every night for you. I saw my life with you. We're strangers now, but I hope you cry for me as well.
I can't see clear. I wash my fears with waves.
There's definitely confidence Abel has gained, but the second verse of the song paints a clear picture of what Abel's life is like right now, and it's not looking as good.
That cry or scream, I block my ears to stop.
Describing a tour life that's full of anxieties, he drowns his sorrows in alcohol. He's anxious to go on stage now. In the movie, we see he's under constant pressure from his manager. He makes him party after shows to keep him going.
The stage took a toll, been faded on the floor in this penthouse.
He's detailing more that dark side of his pop star life. It's such an overwhelming amount of things that he can't control that actually results in a shocking event for him.
It's my fucking voice, okay? Listen, get fucking sick!
So I hold you down. It's fine. much this kills me right now. I'm sorry. But I just lost my voice. This is killing me. I don't want to stop the show. But I can't give you the concert that I want to give you right now. I apologize. I'm so sorry. I love you guys so much.
And this is where the story starts intersecting with reality, which is really interesting. It's not all just a metaphor for his life. In 2022, Abel lost his voice during a concert at Sophie Stadium, had to cancel the show, was booed off by everyone, and it actually made him reconsider everything The Weeknd is. Part of me actually was thinking, you lost your voice because it's done. You said what you had to say. Don't overstay at the party. You can end it now and live a happy life. If you think about it, the unhealthy lifestyle Abel has had for the past decade all ties back to the moment he started pursuing music, the House of Balloons. If The Weeknd never existed, if he stayed at home with his mother, none of it would have ever happened. He probably wouldn't have started drugs, this endless partying, developed this lust. The Weeknd is the cause of this nightmare. But in that moment, for a second, everything just went away. All the pressure he feels. 'Cause without a beautiful voice, The Weeknd it's gone, it's dead. Abel himself thinks of it as, what if that was my ticket to a happy life? Maybe The Weeknd is that void. Story-wise, in the movie, the whole scene is reenacted, with Abel panicking on stage because he lost his voice, and in this panic, he locks eyes with a girl in the audience named Anima. The whole moment is odd. Like, why would a pop star with thousands of fans in darkness happen to lock eyes with this girl where they share a long and deep look at each other? But from here on out, the story completely switches perspective. There's finally a goal in mind, ending The Weeknd. Then we get to Sao Paulo, this hard club banger of a song which starts with Portuguese bars from Anitta. Now, I'm no expert in Portuguese, and if you are, feel free to correct me if I'm wrong, but these translate to put it in the mouth, put it on the face, put it wherever you want. This young dude looked at me and wanted to eat my little pussy. So, if we were to guess what's happening, I think we all got it. This girl, Anima, is gonna end the night in his bedroom. And that's exactly what happens in the movie. She ends up with The Weeknd after a show. On this verse, Abel is conflicted. You can see he wrestles with going back to his lustful ways. Every time he tries to pray away these girls, it's not enough. On first listen, this song is just Abel being a horn dog. You think it's a repetition of After Hours and Dawn FM, but when you start looking more closely, you notice that our two characters are odd. Abel especially. Baby, ride me to the darkness of the night. From the previous tracks on the album, we had an Abel that was more focused on moving on, trying to chase these demons away, getting closer to religion, praying, even thinking, maybe it's my career that makes it so I can't have a happy life. But now he's wanting to go back to the darkness of the night, the after hours. You want to go back to that? Kill me softly like you want me, youth and night. What happened? It's such a hard switch. This is not character growth, this is character destruction. It's like we copied and pasted Abel from After Hours into the story and killed the other one. And then we got Anima, right? This new girl he spotted during the concert, which he associates with the rising sun. She's burning hot like the cleansing fires of purgatory. And now I know what you're thinking. This is not a good way to heaven. It's just the same thing he did repeatedly in purgatory. And you're right. There's something that doesn't make sense here. There's Abel, who wants to get back to the dark so suddenly, and this girl he describes as an angel, his way out. He then describes who she's like. For example, she doesn't want money. She doesn't care about it. She's louder than 2 sold-out nights when he hits it from the back, and he thinks she already fell in love with him. She trusts him with her life. Damn, this fan in the crowd seems obsessed with him. But still, something doesn't make sense. Baptized in Fear really switches up the vibe from Sao Paulo by detailing one of Abel's most terrifying experiences he's ever lived.
I fell asleep in the tub, I was met with paralysis.
Unfortunately, Abel suffers from sleep paralysis.
That is something that, I was really dealing with. They're very vivid. They're very vivid nightmares. You're asleep but awake, half asleep, half awake, and you're aware of your surroundings, but you can't move. You're paralyzed for almost a minute, and sometimes you see a shadowy figure in the corner, and you hear whatever those voices, sweet nothings. It's saying nothing essentially, but they're voices. I did my research on it, and it's lack of sleep, right? Your brain is still awake when you're asleep.
Sounds terrifying, and even more when it becomes an actual danger to your life.
Foot hit the faucet, water started flowing in, couldn't scream for help.
Sleep paralysis takes a big place in Hurry Up Tomorrow. Abel says it's a lack of sleep, but that lack of sleep is something that's caused by all of what Abel has been piling up for all this time.
All the times I dodged it, this can't be the way it ends, no.
It's something we also see in the movie. The whole scene is connected to that event and that song.
Figure in the corner, I can't quite see.
As more and more water fills the tub, Abel spots a shadowy figure in the corner, getting closer and closer.
Water fill my lungs, vision blurry, heartbeat slow.
Through this trilogy, Abel has faced death before, but not to that extent. He's completely hopeless in this situation. This is him dying alone, but as it gets more and more hopeless, he starts hearing those voices.
Voices will tell me that I should carry on.
He explained hearing voices when he's in sleep paralysis, but unintelligible voices. However, as he's nearing his final breath, the voices mean something now. This can be interpreted as him needing to carry on with his life, continue to heal. But also, as this is The Weeknd's last album, he hears his fans telling him he should carry on.
I've been baptized in fear, my dear.
Given Abel is so close to death right now, it's no surprise this song has a lot of religious elements. The first verse even had Abel trying to remember everything his preacher said and praying that his sins are forgiven before he dies in this tub. But this second verse to me tells us that Abel became Christian out of fear. He needed to cleanse his sins because they were gonna kill him. The Weeknd was gonna kill him eventually.
Washing my soul within.
He's been washing his soul within in Dawn FM, but now it's like he gave up on that in this album. Ever since he met this girl, he's not been himself.
Voices will tell me that I should carry on.
There's so many contradictions right now, but whoever those voices are, that means there's someone familiar watching over him somehow.
Voices will tell me that I should carry on.
On Open Hearts, Abel finally escapes the grip of his sleep paralysis and comes face to face with the thing that made him fall in the first place: love.
I can hear the wind blow even through the window.
It's all described like his senses are heightened, similar to how in Faith he told us every physical sensation was increased when he took drugs, but this time it's like his own awareness and introspection are increased instead.
All the silver and gold only made my skin cold.
And it's really about The Weeknd, this persona as a whole. Remember Anima saying she doesn't care about money? Well, it seems that transmitted to The Weeknd.
Told myself I would never get old, then you put me in.
And she keeps on telling him things that are brutally honest. Things that a girl just wanting to fuck with The Weeknd wouldn't dare say. Like, hey, you're getting old. And he finally makes a distinction between his fallen angels, girls like Bella and Stephanie stuck in purgatory and hell, who only contributed to make him fall deeper into his ways, and Anima. She's different. She deeply cares for him and says things that make sense for Abel. Like, that's exactly what he needed to hear right now. This girl just popped out of nowhere, and it's like his guardian angel. She doesn't care about money, drugs, anything. She just wants to help him. Where do I start when I open my heart? Wow, this person really cares for me, so he can't help but fall in love with her. However, where does he start? It's never easy falling in love again. Is this just another trap Abel falls into? At this point, he's been let down so many times that it's not easy to open your heart up for someone again. Trapped inside a limbo, watching through a window of my soul. The second verse brings up lyrics that are really similar to Dawn FM's lyricism. It's really up to par with the trippy, metaphorical vibe of this album. Suffering I've been low, then I seen your halo. But right now, it tells us there's still a concept of Abel being stuck somewhere, watching something unfold. Like, it establishes we are currently watching The Weeknd heal, trying to pursue a happy life. Internally, it's all happening inside, but there's clearly something going on at the same time with this girl. Opening Night is a short interlude where it seems a bit of time has passed because there's been progress in Abel's newfound relationship. Their love grew, so he did open his heart, but now that that's done, Anima is trying to dig for lies. Find out what Abel is not telling the truth about. It's the first time there's something negative said about Abel's new partner, a first conflict, and it's all sparked by the fact she just wants him to tell the truth, stop lying. And it's also something that happens in the movie. She's very persistent on that question.
You have to talk to me! You have to talk to me! You loved her, and then you hurt her, and she broke your heart. Maybe you want to talk about that?
It's not very clear now, but what's clear is Abel has something else on his mind. It's the first time The Weeknd will sing after his incident on I Can't Fucking Sing. A crucial moment for him after all the voices said he should carry on, so that's what he's doing. But that means he's taking drugs again. Then he'll start the show. On this album, it seems more and more that Abel is becoming the antagonist to his own self. Reflections Laughing gives us a pretty grim look at what it feels like to be one of the most popular artists on the planet. Reflections looking back at me, smiling. At first, I thought this was a continuation of the shadowy figures we've seen on Baptized in Fear, telling him to carry on, and it could definitely be that. He's doing a show with thousands of reflections smiling back at him, but I think this verse describes exactly how Abel feels on stage at that point of his life. Trapped inside a gilded cage, a golden blade. It's sad to know he feels like a prisoner in all of this, with so much pressure from his fans and his management, but at least he has the hope that Anima will help him. Don't you let me down, if you let me try. We're really drowning in metaphors right now, but given how The Weeknd talks about death on this song, it almost feels like he's got it all planned out. He wants to die at his peak. seriously, what the fuck is happening? We started with a fully woken up Abel getting back in his career, realizing I can't be happy if The Weeknd exists in me. He sees the happy life in his grasp. Then he mysteriously becomes everything bad The Weeknd represents, and the good side of Abel mysteriously vanishes. There's something we're missing.
I know you're up.
We get a voicemail in the middle of the song, probably left by Anima, this new girl, and it's filled with details that tell us how The Weeknd is feeling right now.
I know you. You still got that adrenaline from the concert.
First of all, she says many times the phrase, I know you, in the album, but also in the movie.
Have you met before?
Which is weird. They've known each other for like days at most.
I'm just worried. You worked so hard to be better, and now you're back, drowning in that shit.
He's torn between this happy life or keeping The Weeknd going.
I just hope you're not back to the old you.
Wait, how the fuck does she know about the old Abel? She wasn't even there back then.
Don't let them take you from me.
Hold on, what the f- Now's a great time to completely switch this story upside down, because what you thought was just another story of Abel falling in love with a girl to get his heart broken again, that's not what's been happening at all on this album. There's a trend happening all the way from the beginning of Dawn FM that may go unnoticed at first, but it's all in your face. There's a separation of characters between Abel and The Weeknd. They're two different persons. Remember that Gasoline video, how there was two Abels, one old and wrinkled and the other one partying and beating the fuck out of him. And even on this album, he's separating the persona, The Weeknd, from Abel Tesfaye. He says, this persona, what this represents, it's bad. I need to fix it. Now, Anima is different. We know it from the second we meet her, that she's more special to Abel than anyone else, really. She's an angel to Abel. She doesn't care about money or anything. She just really wants to help him be a better person. That seems like her only goal. But she's also weird, obsessed by him. She knows him better than anyone else. Like, what the fuck is that creep? In the movie, she's even weirder. She burns up her own home at the beginning and then pulls out a photo that looks exactly like Abel and his mom. When Abel loses his voice, she's the only person to lock eyes with him. She's able to then pass the barrier and find Abel about to leave, and he says, come on, let's go, girl. Then when they're in the car, Abel tells her,
Have you met before?
Later, Abel shows her a new unreleased song for 2 seconds and ends up singing it in full for the rest of the movie, even though she never heard the rest of it. Her name, Anima, means literally the feminine part of a man's personality or the soul. Anima is Abel, and Abel is The Weeknd.
Feels like you're a part of me.
What if at the beginning, Abel's prayers were really answered and he finally has an angel sent down to save him, to chase all these demons away? But here's the thing, this angel is him.
And I can't lie, you still get to me.
It all changes on that singing incident where something divine happens. After that realization that The Weeknd, this persona, needs to come to an end, he creates an angel out of himself. That angel is Abel, a pure soul unaffected by previous regrets and pain. He knows everything about The Weeknd and just wants to help him. Like I said before, it's all happening internally. It's like two parts of his brain are separating so that one can fix the other. He's trying to fix a cancer that is slowly spreading and killing both of them. This whole time, there's no girl. It's just Abel and his persona.
They can never tear us apart, we symbiotic.
But The Weeknd plans on dying. It's like he admits he's beyond saving. It's like he just wants to at least keep doing what he loves until he dies.
It's called I Hope You More. And if you don't, I hope you enjoyed the fucking show.
it's becoming pretty meta, because like, think about it as a thought exercise. You've listened to a couple Weeknd songs, obviously, if you made it far in this video. So if you were to heal the Weeknd, not Abel, just the concept of the Weeknd, and make it so all the negative parts about him were to go away, what would be left? The Weeknd songs and albums are based on pain. If you took away all the drugs, the sex, the bad relationships, there'd be nothing left. The Weeknd only exists from Abel's pain.
That's what the music industry is, right? They want your sadness, and it's gotta be good. It's gotta be really good, sad song. For it to be really good, you have to be fucking sad, you know?
The Weeknd is just a culmination of pain. There's not any fixing it. So at some point, he's like,
Let me be.
if you need to get rid of me, at least I'll die at the absolute peak I can be. And it's really sad to see that. It's not that there's no other choice. The Weeknd could make happy songs, theoretically.
Yes, I could be healthy, but I'm trying to find a reason.
But they won't feel it if it doesn't come from a place of pain.
Take another hit on my music, they won't feel it.
The song even switches the perspective on us. Like, in some way, we all enjoyed the fucking show. If there was no pain, no problem, just happy thoughts, would you have even enjoyed this video?
Let me know, baby.
Love me, love me, love me.
Giving up on me is pretty self-explanatory. After the end of the show, what's there to really do then?
I've been lying to your faces. Yeah, I've been always.
This song is completely from the perspective of The Weeknd, and this comes across as a slap in the face to anyone who really cared about him. He's like, fuck all y'all, I've always been this bad.
I'll always lie to you. I'm unreliable.
It's a harsh but honest thing to say, and given he knows the end is near for himself, it's not like he cares about it anymore.
Why won't you let me go?
Abel tries to help him, but it's like that part of him just wants everything to end now. This really makes it seem like it's The Weeknd's last song. He's taking a bunch of drugs, has already said his piece on Enjoy the Show, and he hopes everyone mourns him. He's just waiting for death, but it's not happening.
Why will you let me go?
He wants it at this point. He's ready.
Will you let me go?
But out of nowhere, he finds the light again. The second part of the song marks a turn in the album.
It keeps calling me back. The sunshine.
It really feels like waking up from a really rough night with the sunlight on your face.
I can feel the warmth on my skin.
There's clearly a religious aspect to it. Perhaps he sees his way into heaven, that not all hope is lost. This song ends the first disc of the album, and it's in that moment that I believe the two characters merge together once more. It's like Abel realizes, I don't think I'm able to fix the Weeknd, but maybe we can find a way to coexist together. Maybe there's a way to figure it all out in the end. I Can't Wait to Get There starts things fresh by making a distinction between the light that shines on you and the light you shine.
The darkness keeps you shining, shine, shine.
It ties into his belief that you need to be sad and just in a poor mindset to be successful in music. That's what the industry wants of you. I find it interesting that, After Hours is one of the most famous Weeknd albums with a ton of hits on it, and that it's generally associated with partying, getting fucked up with friends, a generally happy vibe, when the whole album comes from being in deep pain and search for meaning. And it is a small part of what the movie's about, with one of the characters being the crazy manager of Abel, always wanting to party, have Abel perform no matter what, just a cliche of a producer that cares just about money and not necessarily the well-being of the artist. And it's interesting that in the movie, Anima is also making sure many times that this manager stays away from The Weeknd as much as possible. But on this song, like I said, it's like the internal conflict between Abel and The Weeknd is put aside, and instead they merge to focus on looking forward. Try to find together a lifestyle that's less about remaining into that darkness and more about living in the sunshine.
This summer, we've been running the numbers, we just shy of $1 billion.
Because like, if Abel ended his career tomorrow, he'd be more than fine and could actually start doing healthy things to be happier.
Might connect to my father, I don't know that nigga, trying to end all my dramas.
He could connect with his dad, who he doesn't seem to know that much about. Just good goals in general. He's out in the sunshine.
My enemies hate it, cause I own my soul, I know.
He owns his soul now, and you'll notice for the next few songs, there's no reference of this new girl anywhere. She disappeared. We've reached a new part of the story now.
And I swear I'm gonna do it, I know.
What can I say? Things are finally looking up for once. Timeless is our third and final song in the time-related songs of the trilogy. Too Late and Out of Time were pretty sad and depressing songs, but on Timeless, the title says it all. It's positive. The concept of time doesn't even exist anymore, so this song is definitely not about regret. We're in the light of God, in His love. It feels more and more like we're in heaven or close to it, as Abel gains more confidence and distances himself from the industry. Oh, my bad, not this song. Nope, not this song. Can you believe we didn't have one single song where Abel brags on this whole trilogy? That's how sad and depressed he was. But on here, it's the complete opposite.
It don't matter what they say, I'm timeless.
I'm going pretty fast through this song since it's not that deep. The lyrics are pretty self-explanatory. It would be relevant though to say how much more religion is seeping its way into the lyrics, and it really contrasts from After Hours, where he completely lost his faith.
I got a priest, he got a cross, get out of line, send him to God, I shed a tear.
It's great. He's finding a guide to follow that is not drugs or another toxic relationship. This whole part of the album seems like Abel tries to live with that part of him. The Weeknd may not die after all. Niagara Falls is one of the more nostalgic cuts of the record, not only from its great production, but what it's about.
I used to love you, girl, before the sun goes down.
The Weeknd immediately tells us this is before the sun went down, before the After Hours. It's pretty straightforward, so we know this song is probably about Bella.
I remember that you rolled me blunts before we fought.
There's a sense of innocence in this song, the pure joy of falling in love with someone before any hurt or trauma. And Abel doesn't hold it back, saying he was young.
I was a boy, still the kid from the borough.
But now, basking in this new light, this sunshine, it's like he's regained that innocence, starting something new, a new chapter, and it always brings him back to her.
You know you can always reach me, trying to see you with your clothes off.
There's some elements that come back in this song that reminds you from the sadder songs on Dawn FM, where he's reflecting on the whole relationship, but on here, it seems more like an homage to their relationship rather than a way to get it back, saying even, I know he really loves you, but you will tell me the next move.
In your head, in my baby, you're reliving what we've been through.
And it's more about remembering a good time and leaving the door open in case it ever happens again.
I used to hold you, girl, before the sun came up.
In the second verse, however, we've moved a bit forward in time, but the sun still hasn't come up, still in the after hours. Giving us a bit more context around the first album, notably that the man Bella got with towards the end of After Hours was her ex, and that it didn't really work out in the long run. It can be perceived as trying to manipulate and plant seeds in your partner's mind, but in the end, this song kind of leaves it open-ended. I Can't Wait to Get There, Timeless, and Niagara Falls, they all leave something to look forward to. It ends the Abel and Bella arc pretty nicely. It's interesting we started with their relationship being an absolute crumble and are ending it with the really good parts from the beginning. This song doesn't end there though. And with how much Abel can't wait for the next chapter of his life, perhaps it's finally time to go back. Abel keeps this theme going of being obsessed with sunshine, tomorrow, staying away from the after hours. You'll notice this track is the exact opposite of Escape from LA on After Hours, and that might make you think it's the reverse logic from that song. He's gonna stay here after the nightmare and everything's gonna be fine, but it doesn't seem to be. Now the sunshine tracks my skin, I stayed. We all know The Weeknd is someone who gets addicted to things very quickly. What if he got addicted to the sunshine? Take me back to a time when my blood never tasted. He doesn't just want to go back to LA for that sunshine. He wants to go back there to be the young boy he was back then. That innocent boy. Still not drinking a lot and still being able to fall in love. And it hurts when I think about the nights we would. But to reach that state, he needs to understand what went wrong. So he remembers those nights he spent with Bella in LA. The endless shouting at each other, her crying and him ignoring it, only to come to the conclusion that it's better when I'm by myself. A valid thought. Every time The Weeknd sunk back into a depressive cycle, it was because of someone else. It never happens when he's by himself. Instead, he regains confidence until he falls in love again. Take me back to a place where the snow would fall. The second verse keeps this search going, with him missing his birthplace, Toronto. I left too young. And thinking, you know, maybe this all happened because I left my home too early. I want my soul. After this phase of hope and sunshine, we're entering a nosedive again, because Abel finally reaches an ultimate conclusion. I hate it when I'm by myself. I think there is no better way to summarize this whole trilogy. I'm better when I'm by myself, but I hate it when I'm by myself. It illustrates perfectly why The Weeknd can't live a happy life. It's the ultimate contradiction. As much as it would be better for him to be by himself, it's the thing that he can't stand the most, to be alone again. And no matter what happens, nothing will ever change that. That's why The Weeknd needs to end. Big Sleep ends this part of the record of the constant search for sunshine, because this song is where The Weeknd is faced with the inevitability of his death. It's a hard kickback for The Weeknd, but the ending of the last track says it all. It's the unstoppable force meets the unmovable object. And at this point, it's like we have this separation of characters that appears again. Abel and The Weeknd, because it's clear they can't live together. Hearing these words, it's almost like Abel is speaking and he's pitying The Weeknd while he's getting ready for the big sleep. It's one of the most abstract songs on the whole trilogy, and for a reason. It's like a weird limbo where we have The Weeknd and his soul reappearing. It's very Dawn FM like. And towards the end, a resurrection of some sort happens with his soul as he finally comes to life. In the next two tracks, it's like our characters split. They go on different paths. On Give Me Mercy, we have good old The Weeknd still facing his death and begging for forgiveness.
Conversations with the sky, mercy on my soul.
He's making it obvious he's not talking to anybody else other than God himself and confessing in front of him.
Every time I lost my way, I lost my faith in you.
And he's only looking for mercy from God, that when it's time to leave, all his sins are forgiven.
When I'm defeated, give me mercy like you do.
But while all that is happening, something new rises from the ashes.
I don't wanna waste your time. Just wanna feel the air.
Drive is a complete change-up from the prayer like Give Me Mercy, because right away it's clear that it's sung from Abel's point of view.
And I roll the window down. Don't ever think I'll be this happy.
First of all, because after this separation, he's never been this happy. That's a big red flag telling us it's not The Weeknd. There's only pain in The Weeknd. But also, we had that weird resurrection line at the end of Big Sleep.
You know, I love a time. No, me, 'cause fame is a...
Drive is definitely sung from the perspective of Abel's soul that's been reincarnated. It's like Animo, right? The Weeknd and Abel are going on two different journeys right now. For Abel, he's regained his autonomy, getting away from fame and just moving on to something else. To him, his goal is set. He just wants to drive to tomorrow, find the next thing for Abel Tesfaye, not worry about The Weeknd anymore. And that's when this story blurs the line between fiction and real life, because that's what Abel is actually doing right now, ending The Weeknd and moving on to other projects like acting, for example.
Just be kind, I'm a child again.
The whole song provides more context to this resurrection of the soul by explaining it simply. When Abel ditches The Weeknd, he regains his innocence. He's like a child again. This was depicted in the How Do I Make You Love Me video.
You'll always be a part.
To me, it's really funny how on first listen, I thought this was another love story, right? Like it's all about another girl, but really it's his relationship with his persona he created. The Weeknd is so different from Abel as innocent as a child that to him, it's like a different person is dying. And he's telling him, everything will be alright. You'll always be a part of me. And as Abel was talking to The Weeknd talks back. The Abyss illustrates really well that terror of being so close to death. I mean, that's where The Weeknd is right now.
I don't like the view from halfway.
It takes inspiration from the BoJack Horseman poem, The View from Halfway Down. If you were to jump off a building, for example, this poem details that moment where you're already falling, but you can't do anything about it. You're halfway down, and you're telling yourself, what have I done? The Abyss gives off the same feeling, jumping into a dark abyss, waiting to hit the ground, and regretting everything you did that got you to this point.
Let me close my eyes with ignite.
What I think is so interesting about this album is that it takes us in so many directions. We have a relationship, flashbacks, characters that are one character split into two, but it ultimately ends up being a funeral for The Weeknd. But even though he's halfway down, The Weeknd is still convincing himself it was the right choice.
So what's the point of staying? It's going up in flames.
There's nothing left for him, and right before he hits the ground, there's a thing he says that might sound familiar.
You know my heart belongs to you.
Which, if you remember, in the song After Hours, that final moment with Bella, he did say, "My heart belongs to you," making Bella the final thing he thinks about before falling more into the abyss. Red Terror switches up things by a lot, because this song is not from the perspective of Abel or The Weeknd, but his mother.
You're not heavy, I rock you to sleep.
It takes us back in time quite a while ago, when Abel was just a baby. I think this song is more about The Weeknd remembering one of his first memories as sort of comfort before his death, kind of like what he was doing at the beginning of Dawn FM.
Hush, my child.
Remembering himself lying comfortably in the arms of his mother. It makes sense. Red Terror is apparently a reference to the Ethiopian Red Terror, a period of repression and mass killing in Ethiopia from 1976 to 1978.
I ran from the terror, the ground was red from the left.
And his mother left Ethiopia during that period to Toronto, where Abel was born in 1990.
You came out so precious, in the snow you would grow.
The snow child as we know him, and this amounts to an apology to his mother. It's like she always tried to help him, but that didn't change his ultimate fate. The song itself ends, but we still get a moment that's very similar to the first lines of Every Angel is Terrifying, where Abel reads a poem.
Death is nothing at all.
Death is Nothing at All by Henry Scott Holland. It's a poem for a funeral, which is fitting. It's like you have all these people showing up, including his mother, but most importantly, us.
Call me by the old familiar name. Take me to a time.
Through the second part of the album, we've gone through past memories, realizations, fears, a whole process of knowing the end is near. On a Without a Warning, all that's left is a self-destructive shell that nobody can save, not even Abel.
And my voice fails.
However, there's one thing that The Weeknd has that nobody can ever change or take away from him.
The crowd scream my name.
There's a certain love-hate relationship with his fans he describes in the album, right? With the fact that all this pain he goes through is entertainment at the end of the day.
I should have been sober, but I can't afford to be boring.
Think about the same trilogy, but you just remove all the pain from it. There'd be no problem. And a story without a problem is boring.
'Cause the crowd scream my name.
But nonetheless, this guy made some of the best R&B and pop music of the last decade, and that's gotta mean something.
Even if the world wants me to bed.
Nothing will ever change that. For The Weeknd, death is nothing at all because of the music. When a lyric is great, when a song is great, when an album is great, it's great forever.
You did it. You did it. You see the movie. It has everything. It has a stadium full of fans. It has people. You had it all. You take these to the end.
How do I know tomorrow's coming?
The After Hours trilogy is one of the most unique trilogies I've analyzed because on the surface, it's a pop star slowly killing itself. That's what we get from all of this on the surface, but the truth is, it's actually a pop star slowly saving himself. The Weeknd embodies everything wrong with Abel, every little trauma and pain crammed up into a body that sings for our enjoyment. It's not what Abel wants to be. It's what he unconsciously became. The Weeknd has been a part of him for almost 15 years, and now that he's about to be put to bed, how do you even start again? We've been in all these huge metaphors with two characters trying to help each other and themselves, and his soul being resurrected into a younger, more innocent version of himself, but in the end,
I don't suppose tomorrow's coming.
when he's just the guy who used to be the Weeknd, is there even something next? The final song of the trilogy ditches all double meanings and metaphors. There's no Weeknd anymore. It just gives us plainly Abel.
Wash me with your fire. Who else has to pay?
We've seen these double characters in purgatories and hell, but it's all internal. It's all his perception. It doesn't matter if the persona he created helped all of this to happen. At the end of the day, he's just one person who did so much wrong.
My love's fabricated. It's too late to say.
And you'll notice this song is brutally honest. There's nothing left to hide. He even starts by saying that looking back on everything, his love was fabricated. It was never real for any of these girls.
And I hope that I find what I'm looking for.
When you reach that point in a story, it's natural to expect an ending where he finally finds meaning to his life and ends up happily ever after, but he tells us honestly he hasn't found that yet.
Done with the loss. I hope my confession.
No more lies. Only a pure and unfiltered confession. You realize that the After Hours trilogy was less about healing, but rather get rid of the thing that always forbidded him from healing.
So I see heaven after love.
He's not in heaven, but he finally sees it. A place Abel could finally be in. A place with no pain, no pressure, no regrets.
I took so much more than their lives. They took a piece of me.
After confessing he's never loved at all, he confesses how much he's hurt the women he had relationships with.
I've been trying to fill that void that my father left, so no one.
It all traces back to his childhood. This void that we've been talking about all this video, this sense of meaninglessness, he just wanted to make sure that no one else ever abandoned him.
With my mother trying to save every ounce of my innocence.
And it's no surprise that all this just got amplified by the fact he left home to pursue the lifestyle we already know about. His mother was trying to save him. She always tried to fix that void.
Sorry, Mama, I'm sorry.
In Hurry Up Tomorrow, I feel like there's so much up to interpretation in terms of what's happening because it's so abstract. There's so many different takes you could have, but in the end, this song rallies all theories together.
I want to change.
We started with a pop star full of trauma, afraid of being alone and afraid to die from it. And that pop star did end up dead, so Abel could live. And it seems like it's about to be it. It's over. The Weeknd is dead. But out of the silence of the city, an old familiar noise rises. The final seconds of the trilogy loops back perfectly to the song High for This, the first song of the first mixtape of The Weeknd, which leaves the door open. Will Abel just fall back to his old ways? The movie's ending is even more cryptic, but does show us that Abel is pretty much done with the music industry, with Anima, the innocent part of him, killing off The Weeknd's manager in the end, symbolizing how he's gunning all that shit off. But still, he ends up in the same room we started the story in, getting ready for another show. Nothing is certain, right? But one thing that is Abel's experience in all of this, like in real life.
Look, I think we're all kind of attracted to sad music. There's something about sad music that connects with us, that pulls at our heart. And it's always just been a part of my DNA. Even films that make me cry, films that are darker, I've always kind of connected with them in some way. Yes, I can make sad songs, but the best sad songs are the ones that, it really happened to you. And I don't know if I want to be in that place anymore because unfortunately as a songwriter you might have to put yourself in those positions. You know, maybe, you know, get into a situation where you have to break up with somebody, or you just dive into the darkness more, and it's something that, like, I don't want to be in my 40s and 50s still making work that I can't, you know, detach myself from it.
After Hours started with the ultimate sadness, the worst things that could possibly happen based on the worst things that happened to Abel. Perhaps even things he forced himself into, wanting to keep making sad songs, keep the machine going. After Hours also happened to be the best success he ever had. And it's probably why he took a step back and reflected on Dawn FM. Mapped it out. What happened to me? Took it and turned it into a clear process he repeats over and over, and then finally, hurry up tomorrow. You see Abel separates himself from sadness throughout this trilogy, and separates himself from success in a way. The Weeknd is such a huge artist, and I feel like anyone in his management would be like, what the fuck are you doing? Stopping here at this peak? It takes such courage to just stop there at the level he is right now, and something that's never been done in our current music industry, at least at the scale of an artist like The Weeknd. You think of so many artists that drain the life out of them to keep cranking out these hit songs and albums until they bleed out. So to have a body of work like this trilogy that explains that struggle between an innocent part of you and the other part that just wants more and more is really interesting. I'd really love to get another Weeknd album, but if not, I'm really glad that this is the route Abel chose, if it means he just feels better in general. Just remember, no matter what happens through the night, there's always gonna be tomorrow.